Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Willow Rose Moondancer. I write a blog called Wiccans Aren't Wicked, and today we are going to talk about Samhain, which is one of the Wiccan Sabbats. It is happening next week. It's what most people call Halloween, but yeah, let's get right to it. So you guys already know the idea of Halloween. People go trick-or-treating, we carve pumpkins and all that stuff, but like, where did it really originate from? So Samhain is the Sabbat that's right between the fall equinox and the winter solstice. So you can see that the days are getting darker. And this is because as you can see, I look like a completely different version of me. Not like you just saw. I made a mistake while I was making my video, and I realized my mistake as I was making my blog post to go with this video. So, what I should have said during the part that I just cut out is that this holiday Samhain is about us celebrating, if you will. It's not really a celebration because it's rather sad actually, but we're commemorating the death of the sun god, and the sun god's death causes him to go to the underworld, which is what makes the veil from our realm to the spiritual realm so thin. And at this time, the goddess has turned to her crone form and is spending from like now until Yule grieving the loss of her partner. So on this day, the thought process is that the veil to the spiritual realm and our realm is very, very thin. It is at its thinnest point. The only other day that it is this thin is on Beltane, which is the Sabbat opposite of today's, or not today's, but you know what I mean, the opposite of Samhain. So because it's so thin, we believe that this is our best opportunity to be in contact with our ancestors that have passed away. So some of the things that we do to get in contact with these ancestors is some people will leave candles. I personally leave pictures of my past loved ones. I put them by the window and people put their candles by the window to invite our ancestors that have passed away into our home. It's also common to have what is called a Feast of the Dead, which is when you have your regular supper and all that, but you have an extra seat set aside with an extra plate of food left kind of as an offering, if you will, to your passed on loved ones, so they can come in and join and have supper with you. It is also quite common to do stuff like the trick-or-treating and to do the pumpkin carving. The pumpkin carving was thought to, because the veil is so thin, not only are our ancestors coming through, but any negative entities or energies are also coming through extra on that day. So our pumpkins are there to protect our home and keep the negative energies away and only let in the happiness and the positive energies. As for trick-or-treating, Christians assumed that all of the energies and all of the entities that were coming in were all negative and all were coming from Satan. And so they would dress up and pretend to be all of these ghouls and stuff like that to keep themselves safe from all of the negativity, all of the evil. And so that's just something that we've carried on and now has become just a fun part of Samhain, of Halloween. We also do divination on this day. Divination seems to, and witchcraft as well, just seem to be so much more powerful on this day because there's so much more energy around because of how thin the veil is. So before we talked about how witchcraft magic is so powerful due to all the different energies. Well, if you can invite like 10 times or more the amount of energy into your sacred circle than you would have on any other given day, think about how powerful your spell is becoming. And with divination, you can, through your cards, some people believe that you can get messages from your loved ones or your spirit guides and also deities. And so they think that because the veil is so thin, those messages are going to come through even clearer. And like I said before, this divination could be through tarot cards, it could be through oracle cards, pendulums, tea leaf readings, it could be scrying through water, through crystal balls. Like, there's so many possibilities on what you could be doing for your divination. Another thing that's really common on Samhain is, or any other Sabbat for that matter, is to have a ritual. You can be doing this with a coven if you have one, or just a group of friends or family. Me personally, I'm all on my lonesome for the most part, so I always do my rituals by myself, which is fine. But essentially what goes on is I set my space up, I set a sacred circle to make sure that no negativity comes in. I welcome any ancestors, I welcome any spirit guides, any other positive entities that are hanging around that want to come join me. I welcome their energy into the circle. And then I typically pick between 2 to 4 deities. Usually I like to balance it out with the gods and the goddesses, make it relatively balanced, that are kind of relevant to the holiday. So for me, I followed the Greek pantheon. So for me, I would probably invite Hades in. I usually always invite Pan in because I just feel like he's my patron. And normally I would invite Gaia in as well, but I already have 2 goddesses that I would like to worship, I guess, if you will, or thank for Samhain, so I'd probably leave her out for this ritual. Unfortunately, I love her. She's my matron. But I would probably invite Demeter, and I would also invite Hecate. Now, if you aren't from the Greek pantheon, I have a couple of other suggestions of gods and goddesses that you could invite. For Egyptian, a couple gods that you could invite is Anubis, or I'm sorry if I say this wrong because I'm not super familiar with it, Egyptian mythology, but Osiris. And if you're Hindu, there's Yama, who is a god. I believe he's like the ruler of the underworld because he was like the first mortal to go there or something like that. I'm, once again, not super familiar. And then for goddesses, if you're Celtic, you have Morgana, I think is how you say her name. If you're Norse, you have Freya or Hel. And then, of course, for Greek, you have your Demeter, you have Hecate, and you have Hades. And I know that doesn't cover all pantheons. That was just kind of like a couple little ideas that I thought I might give you. I do have a couple blog posts on various pantheons, if you want to go check that out, if you want some more ideas. I think that is pretty much everything for today. I really hope you have a great Samhain. It's my absolute favorite holiday. I think it's fantastic. Make sure you like and comment and subscribe. I love to hear from everybody. And I'd love to hear how you plan on celebrating your holiday or how you celebrate it if you're seeing this later on. And make sure you check out my blog, wiccansaren'twicked.com, because I have tons and tons of posts there. But yeah, until next time, blessed be.